For families, standing by an open grave and watching a casket lower into the earth represents a definitive end. It is the final resting place, the last chapter of a story. The death care industry views this same burial as the activation of a lucrative, long-term financial contract. These agreements are typically signed when the consumer is at their most vulnerable. Families commit to binding contracts and make massive payments during the most emotionally compromised days of their lives. When we hand over those thousands of dollars for what amounts to a simple patch of dirt, where is that money actually going? Who is profiting from this multi-billion-dollar system? Analyzing cemeteries as optimized financial engines requires looking past the manicured lawns and the atmosphere of a sacred park. The financial engine usually starts with the burial plot, but buying that piece of real estate is only the base cost of a much larger, multi-layered transaction. Take the concrete burial vault required to enclose the casket. Its main purpose is keeping the earth from sinking, ensuring flat ground for landscaping. Then come the mandatory line items that inflate the final receipt. There are opening and closing fees, charged simply to dig the hole, and highly regulated pricing structures for purchasing and setting a stone monument. Historically, you paid your neighbors for this. A century ago, the local funeral director was usually the town furniture maker, building custom wooden caskets. Today, you might still see those historic family names mounted above local storefront doors. But over the last few decades, a handful of massive, publicly traded corporate conglomerates have quietly acquired those local businesses. These conglomerates extract profit through extreme economies of scale. They rely on vast, centralized manufacturing facilities, churning out identical products for thousands of locations. That local cemetery is frequently operating as a retail storefront for a national monopoly, designed to maximize the margin on every single burial. Once a plot is sold and the burial is complete, the cemetery can never sell that specific land again. This leaves a massive operational question. How can a company afford to maintain these grounds for centuries without generating new revenue from that land? The answer is a perpetual care fund. State laws require a percentage of your payment to enter an isolated trust, invested into the stock market. The compounding interest alone, never the principal, funds ongoing operations, paying for landscaping and maintenance. This dedicated financial engine is what allows active cemeteries to maintain those perfectly manicured park-like environments year after year. In older, abandoned graveyards established before these trust laws existed, you see what happens when that financial engine isn't there to pay landscaping bills. A successful modern cemetery is essentially a massive, long-term hedge fund that happens to manage real estate on the side. But there is an inevitable flaw built into this business model. As a real estate company, every single cemetery will eventually run out of land to sell. It is a strict geographical constraint. Decades of urban sprawl have completely boxed in existing cemeteries with dense residential housing, making physical expansion impossible. As that horizontal inventory shrinks to zero, the industry has to covet. To keep corporate shareholders happy and maintain revenue growth, they need new, space-saving products. This constraint is driving an aggressive push toward cremation and the sale of columbarium niches. It solves the land crisis by stacking inventory vertically. Other countries are solving the real estate problem differently. Several global models have moved away from selling plots entirely, opting instead to lease graves for fixed periods before reusing the space. While human mortality is a biological inevitability, the infrastructure surrounding it is a highly adaptable, carefully manufactured market. By understanding the struct economics and real estate mechanics at play, you gain financial clarity. That allows you to navigate the end of life with open eyes, rather than blind emotional submission.